Nihilisa. It is a strange thing to feel dead inside. A soul can become tattered like cloth, and no amount of mending will ever make it right again. I have holes in my soul. I feel them in me, miniature voids, and sometimes I think those holes lead to starless places where the chains of flesh cannot bind you. My real name means nothing. It is the name of a small-town girl who lived a life of little tragedies, and all those pitfalls helped to hollow me out and make me into Nihilisa. Catchy, isn't it? A stage name is supposed to evoke an aura of mystery, and Nihilisa suits me just fine. She is the sum of my failures, the voracious flow of my base desires, and an empty-eyed dancer in the dark. She is the one who spends her endless nights twirling around a pole in a smoky hell, and stripping off bits and pieces of skimpy clothing as she goes. She grinds on the laps of dirty and pitiful men. She counts greasy dollars until her fingers hurt, and then she carries her sore carcass home at closing time and falls into a vampiric slumber. She is lost. She is a pariah. She is a stranger to herself and a stranger to others. Sometimes I forget that she is me. The gaudy makeup, the tight leather bikinis, and the towering heels that torture the feet for the sake of pointless vanity. These are the tools of her trade, and her body is the vehicle to be exploited in the name of continuing her joyless existence. She lives in a low-income apartment in the worst part of the city, the rusted part of the city, the forgotten part of the city. Her companions are breeding roaches and dust bunnies that float around in the lukewarm winds created by a sputtering fan. There's a bubbling aquarium too, but all the fish are dead, just floating corpses, and she has no real desire to remove them. Let them rot in the stagnant water. Let the men she brings here smell their decay when they pound her into a thoughtless oblivion. Sex is nothing to her but a sensation to numb those internal wounds. Fluttery pleasure makes her forget for a few precious minutes, and then all that red dissipates into an all too familiar state of Stygian black. She fills herself to find herself. She hasn't yet. I haven't yet. There are no friends in the club. Everyone there is in contention with the other. They are territorial stray cats that will not hesitate to unsheathe lethal claws and teeth just for a few measly balls of crumpled cash that might be hiding in a customer's ratty pocket. Nihilisa is an outsider among outsiders. She has found the fringe that exists even among a collection of outcasts. She has no real desire to become involved in that eclectic nightmare conglomeration of broken women sharing their broken dreams, and so she keeps her shattered self contained within defensive walls built over the passage of time. She is 37 now. I am 37 now. Life is a river, but it's black with sludge, coated in grime, and all the organisms that inhabit it are mutated as a result. Life reminds her of a little dammed stream that all the hobos of the north side of town visit. The water is putrid green with slabs of concrete jutting out of it like graffiti-decorated islands. A stone building lords over it all, the windows long gone, nothing but eyeless holes staring out over the ruined water source. An abandoned shopping cart is submerged upside down in slimy mud, a boat without a captain, the wheels prone to spinning when the breeze is just right. Those wheels spin just like she spins, a naked body contorting in the gloom and eaten alive by hungry eyes. She feels each bite. She feels too much. She feels the suckling of a warty tongue, the droplets of poisoned saliva, and the scrape of calloused hands trailing across her bare thighs. These hunched shadows are her world. She speaks to them in lightless corners when midnight is long gone. She tells them masterful lies, wonderful creations of fiction that would win her multiple literary awards if she was not just a frail girl, weaving these stories to nothing but lustful shades. One night she is in medical school, the next a former sailor, the next a contortionist that used to travel all around the globe with a sideshow. She smiles when her lies fall from her mouth. It is a dead smile full of dead sentiments, and she chews down what is left of her ambition like pieces of broken glass. The truth is, Nihilisa has never even left the county. She was born here, she lived here, and now she feels locked here. Hers is a mental prison, and the bars of such a place are just as strong as those grounded in reality. It will come as no surprise to find that she is under self-imposed solitary confinement. Do you know of alienation? Perhaps you think you do, but you don't. Not really. Alienation is this: dancing with bleeding souls for a pittance, going home to eat the cheapest and least nutritious meal possible, and knowing that all those in town that are aware of your chosen profession either hate you, want to fuck you, or pray that God sends a bolt of lightning down to core out your sinful harlot heart. Nihilisa has a bathtub of stained porcelain, and this is her favorite place in the lingering scraps of her world. She sinks down into the warm water and imagines existence before the womb, after death, and on distant planets where existence itself is ill-defined. She is not unhappy. She's not depressed. Those were the early and trivial stages. She is beyond them. I am beyond them. She gazes into a mirror covered in smeared handprints. Brushes and perfume bottles and single ones litter the countertop. She stares at herself. She stares into herself. Black eyes, hair dyed bottle blonde, lips plump and slightly ragged, skin sallow. She stares and she stares, willing even a hint of hope to present itself. There's none to be found. She can't face the strobe lights again. She's desperate to be free of the lecherous demons out there with the grubby paws and the knobby groins. They want a show. They want to strip her. She'll strip for them. Nihilisa staggers onto the stage and approaches the pole. A shocked murmur travels throughout the denizens of the club. Blood splatters around her heels, the claret staining her exposed toes. Her dead eyes are gone. All that remains are dark, ragged sockets trailing a few strands of nerve tissue. Her tongue is gone, pulled from the mouth hole and twisted before being split and removed like an unwanted part. Her breasts are nothing but lacerated sacs, and her hair has been hacked down to the scalp. She has stripped all that she has to strip. She has stripped her flesh to the bone. An outsider among outsiders. A dripping mutilation in a nameless club in a forgotten backwater. That's all this is. That's all it'll ever be. She used the sharpened stiletto to carve right down to the holes in her soul, and now the hungry eyes have their final feast.